I'm Diana with Stuck in Stitches. I am here to bring you quilting and crocheting projects that I love to share with you. Today I am doing a quilting project that I've just started. I've done a few blocks and it is a free pattern online. It's a plaid pattern. This says it was a summer sew-along in 2022. Ruby Star Society. So if you type in plaid quilt patterns free, you'll probably get this if that's what you're looking for. I recommend it highly. So one of the blocks I've already done, actually I've done 6 I think so far. It's for someone special, very simple. It asks for a light, medium, dark, or light, a white, light and medium, whatever. They all work really well together to make the plaid pattern. Anyway, I've got one down here. I'm going to bring you down. I've got my piles of whites. Probably have more than enough. My grays and my darker grays. Okay. Now, these blocks are 20 by 20, and I wanted to show you, first of all, a tip that I found that I needed to come up with when I started these blocks. And the reason being, I would get them mixed up. The rows, if they were flipped the wrong ways. So what I decided, and then they wouldn't lay right. So what I decided to do is put pins on the left side, making that so that all the pins would line up. So I've got a pin in every block that's going to stay, so I know when I sew them, they all line up together, knowing this is the side that should be here. It's just a tip that helps me, otherwise I get the rows flipped around and I may have gray over here matching the gray, and I'm like, I've sewn it together, I've had to take it apart several times, something like that. So I know it's been the case with the bottom too. They've been flipped around a couple times. So I came up with the tip. Again, it's pins I put in the blocks so that I know that side is all going to be lined up and they're not going to be flipped around. Okay, because you can tell they're not going to match, and sometimes I'm not paying attention, so this keeps it in order, guaranteed, so you won't mess up. So anyway, I've got, what I do is I've set it up where the white grays will be ironed, my back sides will be ironed this way. My darker grays and mediums will be ironed this way. And at the end, when all the block is put together, I iron these seams here down so that it looks much better. See how pretty the back looks? And it's going to be easier for whomever I get to quilt it, if it's myself or someone else. So I'm going to go ahead and start sewing. Let me bring you up just a little bit so you can, I don't know if you can see that, but anyway. So what I do is I flip the two sides over. I always pin my seams here first. And the reason being, because I feel like those are the more important areas to match up first. These will be easy. Because if you pin this up, if it's off just a little bit, you need to give that leeway. So I get these two to nestle up. I pin on either side so that nothing shifts. I'm guaranteed that nothing's going to shift. I look again, make sure it's nestled up. I also always flip it over to make sure none of the fabrics overlapping the other more than the other. They're lined up evenly. So you can scratch it with your nails, get them adjusted, look down into it to make sure it looks good. Pin on either side again. And look, make sure everything's lined up. And then the ends just automatically match. So there you go. This pin's marking what side, so that's always staying out of the way. The other thing, the reason I pin my pins with the points towards the seam, so you know what edge is being sewn. I also make sure they're a 1/4 inch away so that I don't have to take the pins out. You take the pins out, it will shift the fabric. I like to leave it in. It's just a safeguard, and I can just pull it down just a little bit just to adjust it if I think that my sewing needle is going to hit it. But that way I'm guaranteed it's going to be sewn, and it's going to all nest together nicely. Normally I back stitch at the beginning and the end, which I didn't do on this one, so I go back and stitch it because I want those seams, those intersections to be nice and strong. So that's that. I go ahead and take them out. And like I said, these are pointed to the seam that I'm going to sew. It's just and it's easier. I don't like them sticking out this way. It's easier for me. Okay, so you know it's all ready. I'm going to go ahead and iron this real quick. I iron the back first. Iron that back first. Flip it over. Don't push it into it, the iron into the seam. Just lift it a little bit. So there you go. Everything's all matched up nicely. Check your intersections, make sure that they look pretty, they match the way you want it. Close enough I like to make sure they're pretty exact. This is for a family member. So that's one block. That there is a block. So all I have to do is take these seams out, these pins out for the next block. So now what I'm doing is I've got all my stacks here, like I showed you. Now the nice thing, one thing about this fabric here, it's got a print on it, so it's tone on tone. It's a beautiful little plants on it. If you flip it down, it doesn't. It's hard to see. It's kind of muddled, very faded. But you flip it up on the cutting board, you can tell it's a lot more clarity on this print. So you know what side's right side up. So that's something to watch for when you've got, it's hard to see this probably, if you've got a small print and it's tone on tone, especially white. So I'll put a pin in there knowing this is going to be the beginning. Then I go ahead and lay out. So I like to lay my block out so I can see exactly what it looks like. Sometimes these fabrics stick together. I have to. So next is starts with gray. That one will get a pin. Gray and a dark. Then you repeat this row. The white. That will get a pin. White, gray, white, and gray. Make sure those prints are right side up. Now I've got this row is the last row, so I'll move these back a little. Bring these up. Okay. So it starts with gray. Looks like there's two here. Light and a medium gray or dark gray. So it's all laid out. Check it. This one needs a pin. I like to do that. You can even start here. If you're more right-handed, I'm kind of both. You can do that here. You can do it in the middle, whatever works for you, but I think this way, that way I know everything goes this way. You can do it that way. So I pick up two. Get them ready. Pin them. I'm a pinner. I love it. I feel more confident doing that, knowing that it's going to be sewn right. So I'll pin the first two rows, the first row. And you can do assembly line on this. Pins far enough away that they're going to be in a safe distance. those pins back. You don't want them in the way. Forgot to do this one. I bumped my seam thing. Yeah, let's try it again. There we go. Sorry about that. That wasn't lined up well. Let me check this one. My seam, I must have bumped this guide that I have here. Okay. Try to make sure all of your threads are cut. That way you don't have to go back and do it. So this is my beginning row. This one goes next. So I do 2, 2, 2, 2 all the way down. Then I join the rows together and keep it laid out so I can see what I'm doing. That way. Oh. Did not grab that thread at the time I was supposed to. Here's my pin, goes off to the left. Aha, good thing I checked these fabrics. Didn't want to sew two together. I probably have enough to maybe do a table runner with all these blocks left over, or even another quilt. I've cut so many. Go ahead and start on this. This row. This is a gray. There's the pin. Okay, this is the white. One. Then each row will be sewn completely together, and that's when well, before I do that, I will probably press them so that they're all going this, well, maybe, I think I do the whole row. I sew the whole row together, and then I do them, iron them the way that they're supposed to go in the seams. Whites go to the right, the gray row is ironed opposite. And start down here. There's one row. This is really a fun quilt. I really like the pattern. I'm tempted to do another one if I have plenty left over. I'm hoping to do each block's 20 by 20, so I'm thinking 3 blocks may make enough. I may go 4 across and then 4 down. That would be a good size for someone. But we'll wait and see. So pins off to the left. For me, I get one more row and then all the rows will go get joined together. So this is the time I iron them. Oops, that goes this way. So again, it's the white that goes away from the white. Here. Grays go towards the gray. So again, the purpose of them going opposite so they nest together when you sew the seams together. And they lie flat and it's less bulk if you iron them properly. Especially for a quilter. Whoever is going to do the long arm quilting. Let's get the threads. I use steam. Not everyone does that, but I find that it flattens it a lot better. I don't have my clappers with me today, but I think the next time I start doing this, I will definitely bring them. I think it makes a difference. Okay, looks like that nests together. Again, look down into it, make sure that they're touching. As long as they're not overlapping, it's good. And then I do the ends. So I'll go ahead and pin both rows first so I can assembly line them. So this is one row ready. This will be the next. So what I'll do is I'll put the link below in the for you all to find this Summer Sew Along 2022 Ruby Stars Society. So you can, you know, download it if you want, if you like this plaid pattern. It's very simple. Seems to work up fast. Then all I'll have left is one seam after these two are done. And then this side. Okay. Another tip is anything that might be a little off, where you've got more material to feed in and it's not flat, put that always on the bottom. Say that this one's just a 1/16 of an inch or something like that, too big. Still pin it, but feed that side here under the sewing machine, not face up. Not on this side, but have it under, so it's easier for the feed dogs to feed that fabric through and you don't get that pinch. So I'm backing these up just a hair. Also want to check these. They're going forward. Okay, that looks like. Looks like I pinned this one. Let's do this. There we go. It's going to lie flat. Still work. I hope I didn't mess that one up. Nope, looks good. So let me look at this one, make sure it's going to lie flat. That's another habit to get into, is make sure the seams are not getting folded over. I have a tendency, I'm a little OCD, and I have to go back and clip that, lay them the right way so that they're not folded, and re-sew that area. So this, make sure it's not, this was the pen that stays in there. I believe, nope, I'm wrong. It's this side. So when you open it, let's get these threads. Pins off to the left. So this will be ironed down this way. So I want them all facing the seams down. Go ahead and iron that now. Down towards the dark. Again, you want your back as pretty as the front. Seams going down, and all the other ones to the sides. And I'll come back and press the whole thing once I get it all done. There's a little bump here, you know, where the bobbin goes in, and that seems to flip my fabric, my seam opposite. Instead of one on top of the other like this, one always gets flipped. And I have to be careful with that. So let's see, that side needs cutting. Pins out. All the pins are still here on the left. Sew these down just like the other ones. Okay. Now this gets sewn to this, these two to this, and that will complete our block. and then the ends. Just kind of scratch the fabric and it will move for you. Okay, that one's done. Finger a little too close there. Huh. Okay. Fabric skewing a little at the end. I'm going to have to take that out real quick. I don't understand why. Just a little bit. Good. Let's get that. Just make sure you're gentle when you iron these blocks. So there you have it. It's 20 by 20. Really fun. So when I get enough blocks, I put them all together and voila. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye. Please subscribe, comment, and share also. Thanks. Bye bye.